Hey guys, what's up? This is the Crow's Nest, a special episode where we have GD Aerospecs and Major Rampage, and we're going to be talking all OP10 stuff today.
This show that got your name right on the first try without being tongue-tied?
This guy's a pro. Speaking of being pros, this guy's a pro.
I'm something. I don't know that pro is the word I'll use, but I'm something. Well, I could have called you, my one friend Toxic, he calls you GD Allspice for some reason, so.
You know, dude, I'll take what I can get. I like asterisk myself.
Right. So, well, let's get right into this because we got a lot of slides to cover, so let me get on my presentation kick here.
Right on. So while you're doing that, by the way, thanks for having us on your show. I've been looking forward to seeing what you guys got. You're the last one on our tour, so thanks again.
Oh, not a problem. Thanks for coming on. We get the back cleanup, so we get a little extra information that some of the guys weren't quite privy to yet. So it works for me.
That's right.
Let's see. So let's start with the OP10 stuff. Obviously, you know, here we got some of the images. I think this one is the Forsaken one, and over here we got the Draconian outpost, and down here we got the Scourge one.
Yep.
And there's two more that we'll get to in the next slide.
You didn't see ones up there.
I don't know. I'm a drac myself.
Some of the buildings that will be coming with OP10 will be Dock level 14, Shipyard level 5, Weapon Lab level 12, Advanced Lab level 13. We'll get 2 additional defense platforms, and they'll all be going up to level 9. We'll get walls will go to level 10. Warehouses will go to level 16. We'll get 100 extra walls and 30 extra land tiles.
Which one?
Is that still accurate?
Yeah, that's still accurate.
So I guess we could add that. They do have.
He's got it. Yeah. We're making sure that you got all the little bits.
Gotcha. And then here we got the other 2 images for the outpost. This one is the Legion, I would assume, and this is the Reaper. Additional power capacity. OP10 will be going up to 12,030. Each warehouse will be going up an additional 1,000, and the dock will be going up 2,500.
That's the case. So plan your new defenses accordingly.
So then we also have the Omega Gatling gun research, and they were actually kind enough to supply me with some stats for this thing. It's going to have a splash of 40, a spread of 10, a range of 275. Hang on to your panties for this one, kids. Damage 800,000. Salvo of 15, reload time of 45, and submerged damage of 800,000 also. It will have the wind-up thing that we've become used to on the Gatling guns with a 500% increase, with a reload decay time of 5 seconds, and maximum reload stacks at 83.
Yeah.
So you guys want to go into this a little bit?
Sure. Look at the damage, look at the salvo, and remember what you know about Gatling guns. So basically this thing, your job as a defender, once you've built this thing, also note the damage type. Right now in the meta, concussive is a very strong defensive damage type. We don't have a lot of things that are strong against concussive right now, and so the reload time can drag, but once it reloads and it fires again, it absolutely does business. And so your job as a defender is to keep the enemy as far away as possible once it gets into range, so that way it can do its business and reload. But yeah, do you have anything that you want to throw in?
So what you're saying, just repeating up, what you're telling me is I really want those channel defenses to keep people away from this, so that it basically gets full kick out.
Well, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't try to sell all the things. But in seriousness, we did develop. So when we started talking about Outpost 10 a year ago, the very first thing I said was, you know, can we please put a giant freaking gun on top of the outpost? And everyone said yes. So then it became a matter of, okay, this is going to be the defense line that is going to kind of define your base. So then everything about your base defense should start to rotate around this. In terms of range, 275. So I'm sure some of you are doing the math right now. It's quite large. And also just in terms of time to kill. So remembering that this thing has a long reload, your job is to kill the first thing, and then try and keep them away while you reload so you can kill the second thing, and then on and on and on.
Looking at this, the regular, because I'm realizing, because I'm getting better at the math, this is outranging the sloth at this point, isn't it?
Yes.
I got a question for you guys. Okay, so I'm assuming this is something that we have to research, correct?
Yep.
About how long, roughly, is that research going to be?
Do we have a number that we're willing to say?
I don't have numbers of research on this in here.
Right. So anything that's so just so you know what we're doing, anything that's on his sheet are things that we have QA'd, vetted, discussed, and finalized. Some things that we're not ready to reveal yet, and so one of them looks like the build time. It's pretty long. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. It's a very long build time, and the purpose behind that is once you get this thing, you have moved definitively into tier 6 is handled for defense, and so we want to make sure that there's enough time so that way people can start to move into that and also move through tier 6 stuff. And then, of course, what does that mean for the rest of you guys? Escalations in the future for tier 6.5s.
This one's researched in the weapons lab, right?
The
advanced lab, or the advanced lab? Or the
lab? Pretty sure it's the weapons lab. Okay. Yes, it is the weapons lab because we have something else in the advanced lab.
Cool.
I have a question. This is a Gatling gun. Can we look forward to other Omega weapons in the future?
Yes, you can. And so one of the things that we have that we don't share with you, but pretty quickly you'll be able to figure out is I call it the wheel of PvP. And so right now we want concussive to be strong on defense. And then when we want the next thing to be strong on defense, maybe ballistic, maybe penetrative, depending on how we do it, you will see a giant freaking gun for the top of your base that can go there in that form. So a giant cannon, a giant missile. You can imagine how these are going to go down that way. Yeah.
To me, they're just the BFG 9000 series at this point.
They really are. They shoot like nobody's business.
Okay, now I had a few questions in relation to OP10. I don't know how many of these you can answer, how many of them you can't, but I'm going to go down my list anyway. OP10 to upgrade, how long?
It's not on the list. Not on the list, so we can't say. Sorry.
God, that's fine. With all the building and upgrading, turret upgrading that we see, are there going to be any possibilities of structure build token campaigns on the near horizon?
Not on the very near horizon. We do want our chance to let people slow build and start the slow build and just make the decision to coin or not. But yeah, there will be structure build tokens available. I can't say where. I'm going to guess we're not going to do a TLC for that one, though. I'm going to guess some of the obvious places where we're going to start putting that is in Bounty, and also just in daily deals and stuff like that. So I don't really care about the daily deals stuff. But the part that I can say is where I want to see structure build tokens is in the Bounty system, because that's the connection.
Okay. I know when you were on one of the other shows, they had asked you about the possibility of if base parts would factor into anything dealing with OP10, and you said you had two different competing models at that point. Have you decided on one of those two models at this point, or is that something that's still in debating?
Well, you're a player of Battle Pirates. Which model do you think we ended up with? No, we do not want base parts to play a factor in our newest, highest value stuff. We did play with some numbers, but the honest truth is anything, if we did allow base parts to be a part of this, then we would have to jack up everything a lot because it's pretty easy to get base parts right now. And fair enough. Just full honesty with you, we'd rather not mess with that system at all. We want to keep out all these outpost upgrades clean for you guys in terms of what you see is what you get.
That's something I think we've had a lot of conversations about recently. Is a lot of balancing like what the rewards are, and I know looking for base parts and looking for tokens versus the repair times on things.
Right.
So I know that a lot of people are looking for those sort of tokens, but in order to keep them balanced properly, there'd be just so much more effort in getting them.
Well,
right.
And while it might not be the answer that we want to hear, I appreciate the honesty of the answer more than, kind of hemming and hawing around it.
Yeah, there's no hemming or hawing. We just can't do it. So we did have two competing models. We looked at them. The model that had base parts in it was something like 3 times as long, and that's just dumb. Like at that point, we're not really talking about Outpost 10. We're talking about a base parts game, and that's not what we want to talk about.
Gotcha. One of my personal things I was curious is, and it's not necessarily an OP10 question, but I figured I would throw it in here anyway. Are we ever going to have the possibility of putting waypoints in for our guard fleet as opposed to patrol range?
Maybe. Actually, now that I think about it, we just did some work on pathing to deal with something that's coming up, and yeah, I'll talk to engineering about that. Possibly, but definitely no promises. But yeah, maybe.
Okay, because I know personally that's a lot of times I only want my boat to go to this specific point, not have a patrol range where it can wander anywhere in that range that it wants to.
Or wander outside your channel and out into the ocean, and who knows?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Do little spinnies because the portal defenses now like really made things even with patrol kind of weird because they won't go the one way because the boats can't go that way anyway. I don't know.
Yes.
It's a weird situation at the moment.
Yeah, we are. By the way, on that note, we're well aware that the AI behaves strangely with channel defenses, and we're diligently working on it. It was one of those things where we're like, let's fix this, and then it was like, oh, all this. So there's a lot of fix that needs to go into that, but the AI is going to be improved at the other end. So we're pretty happy.
A lot of things that touches what I'm hearing in stand-ups at this point.
Yeah, the AI is a wily beast.
Dock weight increase. Like, what are we looking on that? Do we have any kind of numbers or not really?
I don't have a firm number.
It's okay. I'll speak to that. So sorry about this. So there is a dock weight increase. Basically, we know what tier 7 hulls are going to weigh, and the dock weight will. And so what we're doing is we're ensuring that it can handle tier 7 hulls. That's about all I can say. You can do some math and probably figure out what the tier 7 hull weight is if you look at the difference between 5 and 6 or whatever, and you could probably get pretty close to what the dock weight increase is. But absolutely, it's increased. It's a healthy increase.
Okay. Bonus for Shipyard 5. What's that going to be? Because we have weight reductions for specific things for all the other ones. What are we looking at for Shipyard 5?
This one, we've got Scourge weight reduction by what looks like 15%.
Okay, cool.
So there's one missing.
Sure.
And we know.
With warehouses getting increased, what kind of additional base parts, uranium, titanium, that kind of stuff, what's our capacity for that increasing up to?
I don't have a firm number on that one. I have increased resource cap. I don't have a number on that one yet.
But all of them are increased. All of the above are increased. We have a formula that we follow for that. It's another one of those things you could figure out if you needed to. It's very formulaic.
Okay.
But we've did all 3 of those capacities and the 4 basic resource capacities too, by a healthy amount actually.
And doing some quick math on the power that we're going to be picking up. Looks like we're going to be picking up about 20K power. Are you confident that's going to be enough? Because I noticed like some of these new turrets are like 2K more than the turrets we're running currently. So at 2K more per turret, say roughly, that would be like, okay, you increase 10 of your turrets by that 2,000 number, and then you're out of power again already.
Sure. So we're looking at the actual numbers in data right now, and I'm going to tell you, it is not. It's not one size fits all, but there will be more power options available because I think the bit where the outpost pretty much decides what you can build is probably not the right solution for an entire year. I'd rather help folks increase power over the next year. And so I think that's what we're going to do. So the short form is you'll be able to do a ton with this new power increase, but it's not going to be enough for you to do all the things. No.
Okay.
Strategic decision making. Yep. Gotta give you room to grow.
So let's see. Okay, we got the Conquest Yard or the PvP Shipyard. Okay, my first question off this one right off the bat. Is the Conquest Yard the name that we are going to be calling it?
That is the name. However, players have spoken very clearly. Look for places where Huggy's name has possibly been injected around this thing. So after some discussion, we couldn't call it Huggy's Shipyard or anything like that with a straight face, but we totally got why players wanted that. So as a nod to Huggy, we put in some text and stuff throughout the game that refers to the Conquest Yard and Huggy being involved.
Good. That was actually the first potential place I saw for the tars and feathers to come out.
Yeah, it was funny because when we made the offer on the last one, we thought we were going to get like a ton of names and there were, like explosion thing and stuff like that. And we were going to look through them and go, hey, here's one that's pretty close to a name that we've already chosen. No, instead you all said Huggy's Shipyard. And so we're just like, crap. Because we love Huggy too, obviously. Until we got the cut and paste thing for ship builds, pretty much we all had Huggy's Shipyard on our bookmark bar anytime we wanted to do some work on figuring things out quickly. So yeah, we love Huggy's stuff and we wanted to honor him. So he's honored.
Good deal. I know personally, the two biggest concerns I have over having a PvP shipyard, I think it's a wonderful thing. You can work on, if nothing else, you can work on your guard fleet at the same time you work on your PvE stuff. My two biggest concerns, myself anyway, current build times for defenders and conquerors. Now that we have an entire shipyard dedicated just to them, are we going to see build times go up?
We don't have any plans for that at this time. So let me explain how it looks like from our end. The things we look at, we have a ton of data that we look at all the time. And one of the things we're looking at is how many of you all have blueprints and you haven't built anything with them. And we don't like that just as much as you don't like that. And we know the reasons why you're not building. So it's going to be a while till we feel like Tier 6 Conquerors and Tier 6 Defenders have been played out. We're going to do some 6.5 escalations and stuff like that over the next few months. But I think that you guys have a long way to go before we feel like we're going to need to put a pinch on you for shipyards.
And this is part of sort of the separation at this point as well. So I know one of the big things that a lot of people have been talking to me about is having to PvE for PvP or PvP for PvE stuff. And once again, this is sort of giving you those options where you're not forced to overlap those two.
Yeah, that's the goal. Put another way, we spend a ton of time on Bounty, and we're going to continue to spend a ton of time on it until we get it right. And along the way, you guys need to build a bunch of ships to fight in Bounty, or else you're going to be unhappy and we're going to be unhappy. So we needed a shipyard.
Right, exactly. One of my other concerns too, and like I said, this is just me thinking the way I think, was now that we have this new yard, you know how a lot of times when we do these limited campaigns to get the Conqueror hulls, and we get like the 6-day build tokens that come with them, are we going to see a decrease of those 6-day build tokens?
Probably. To be honest, probably. We don't have any plans for that this time, but I should, that's something that you guys can prepare for. Put another way, let's talk about from our end. We have a certain number of ships we want you to build, period, as players. And when I say as players, I don't mean like you specifically. I mean as a group of players that behave the same. We want to say, they have 2 Inquisitors each, or something like that. And so we manipulate token amounts based upon how much we need people to be building things. Because the thing to remember is we offer these hulls, and they're intended to be fun. But we also kind of need you to play with these hulls. and if you don't, then that means we're doing something wrong, and we need to go back to the drawing board. But that means you're not having a good time. We're not having a good time. So we do things to help you guys build the hulls, and we do a lot of things to try and make sure that you guys have hulls to fight with. On the other hand, we also have to put in the pinch because, we make video games.
Right.
Business side.
That's totally understandable. It's just something, and I kind of already knew the answer to this question before I even asked it, but I wanted to kind of get like ahead of the bus before it happened and everybody's like, what the hell,
I mean, that's the thing to get salty about, is probably we will be reducing the help we give, or at least the help you can earn. However, again, I'm going to point to Bounty. The obvious place for build tokens is going to be Bounty as we go forward, and they will, the Bounty plan that we just recently approved has build tokens in it for quite a while, so they will be there. But the amount, probably lowered.
All right. Before I go on to any of my next slides, like Vlad or Ross or Calum, did you guys have any questions about the OP10 or the shipyard that I haven't covered?
I was a little concerned. Well, no, I was questioning on how many. We talked a lot about armor points. Are we going to throw the base totally off again?
You talking about your bubble pad?
Yes.
Yeah, it's shifted a little bit. Yeah, I want to see if we have anything we're supposed to say. You know what? Who cares? Yeah, the bubble pad has shifted. With 2 channel defenses at top end and outpost 10 and all the other things, what gets killed actually comes back into line with your original bubbling amount. But as you build these things up, yeah, it's going to be all over the place just because we tune it for the end goal of after you build all the crap that we put out.
Right. Okay. Good. I was like last time.
Yeah, that makes sense because that's something that we've had to deal with every time we had an OP upgrade. So,
yeah, I mean, because in the end, we can't. We just the math will never work out otherwise. We have to tune towards the end goal, and that means as you grow, yeah, you're going to be screwed sometimes. And so you should grow faster and get through it. It would be my advice.
Calum or Vlad, anything from you?
No, you pretty much covered everything I was going to say.
And I got my question in early.
Right on. Does any of the viewers? I'm not looking at the YouTube thing. Do any of the viewers have anything?
Anybody else? Calum, you've been kind of watching the YouTube. Is there anybody any questions from there? I'm having problems concentrating on doing slides, staying focused, and watching YouTube all at the same time.
There is one.
Yeah, they were all complaining about the cruise, the rolling up the cruise and everything.
Yeah, I'm getting to that. I'm getting to the cruise in my general question slide.
Okay, we have one from Ren, and he is asking, with the 30 more land tiles, is there any chance in increasing the attack timer? Is that looking at in the future? Or?
Yes, we do have plans to increase that. It's not immediate or soon, and by soon I mean within the next couple releases. We do have plans. We need to monitor the base hitting because we're really good at PvP, or at least the design team's really good at PvP here. And so we're not good judges for things like average time. And so the way we handle that is we just need to get some data from you guys, and then we'll be able to make a smarter move. We have a number in mind. Let's see if the number makes sense. Because really the worst thing we can do is make the timer too long, because that just means attackers win always.
And it is fun watching the folks here now that it's 3 squares further on each side, an extra 30 tiles, and watching the designs they're coming up with at this point, and hearing someone laugh maniacally, and then everyone's going to run over, look at their desk, and watch a fleet try to go through their base.
Yep. Switchbacks are the thing. Or a really, really intricate spiral, but the switchbacks seem to be the smart move.
I want my R to be practical. It's not.
I've got another question from Ren. With OP10, will base parts be used as the same to help with the upgrade of the turrets and everything?
Everything that we did with Outpost 9 is what we're doing with Outpost 10. We didn't change any of those rules.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I want to move on to Bounty real quick because I know we're starting to get crunched for time a little bit, and there's a couple more things I want to cover. Bounty, I just want to do real quick. Just what was the I guess one of the easiest way to say it is, what was the mentality for not giving people points for successfully defending their bases?
The word is collusion. We were really concerned that there was going to be we were going to have to put in a bunch of rules to stop people from trading hits or something stupid like that. We think we have a good handle on how to give you points for successful defense. It's not in Bounty 2. May not even be in Bounty 3, but that's what I'm pushing for. I think the next logical step is to reward you for defending, because in the end, this whole thing began with the question, why does anyone ever want to defend their base? That's how Bounty began. and that was when I was new here, and I literally didn't know enough about the game to know. I was just like, why should anyone ever defend their base? And so it seems crazy that we ship bounty without giving you a bonus for defending your base, but it's very much on our mind.
Yeah, I mean, it just seemed like, with all of bounty being based off a limited economy anyway, as far as points that are generated and that kind of stuff, that throwing all those points in the water, when you successfully defended, just seemed like making that economy pool even smaller and smaller.
Yep, cause problems, that's for sure.
I was curious too, is there any plans in the future to, while you are bubbled, you can still generate some kind of bounty, even if it's not at the full rate?
I wouldn't say we're close to the idea. So the issue we have is, as you say, with the limited economy, players hitting each other is a big part of making the economy go. And if players are bubbled, then the economy stops. So this is different than PvE, where we get to control all the knobs. This one, we need to help maintain a minimum bar of gameplay. And so I think we were a little heavy-handed with that. That was definitely not my best advice when we were building this. And so we're definitely looking at it. So what we are doing this time is we're turning bounty generation into less times per day you have to check in because of other reasons that people have given us feedback about. And so that's going to help with this no bounty generating while bubble.
Okay, and the only last thing I had there was just a suggestion on my part, and I had actually spoken with you a little bit about this before the first bounty even started, was I think you should add in a thing where people's OP has to be repairing before they can collect value from base hits too, because just like I predicted to you that was going to happen, people were just running around not repairing their base and using the map repair for hours upon hours, so you could never take anything from them.
Yep.
So just something you might want to think about.
We have thought about it a lot since we've talked, and we definitely don't have anything in Bounty 2 that directly addresses that, but we're well aware. I have a sneaking suspicion that it's no longer really a great winning strategy because we've kind of given you reasons to not worry about repairing your base, including retuning the economy. There will be more NPC targets to hit, so you can grind a little bit, and then the less second-to-second generation. All those things make it so that way repairing your base isn't a bad thing to do.
And I'll just add in that after Bounty Season 1, the number of meetings I think we all had about what worked, what didn't work is amazing. In my 5 years in this industry, I have never seen this level of attention and, for lack of a better, love for a feature, because we all know what we wanted this to be, and it didn't quite roll out and have the impact we're looking for, but it's how do you preserve the spirit of that and make it enjoyable?
Dude, I agree. I mean, like, I know that there's a place for a PvP event in this game. I know it. If Bounty isn't it, I think it is, but if Bounty isn't it, we're going to find it, because it seems crazy to me, a game called Battle Pirates with a lot of PvP opportunity, that we're not having a PvP event. But right now, the two things we're doing is we're trying to be a little bit less crazy. Now that we've gotten Bounty to you guys, it's our job to manage it and make it more clear and more fun. What we're definitely not doing is looking at Bounty and going, well, that didn't work that time, let's throw it all away and start over. We're definitely not doing anything like that.
My goal is not have an 11-page document of explaining how to play Bounty.
Yeah, that's my goal too.
Any of you other guys have anything on Bounty that you wanted to add in real quick before we move on?
Will their same or will they be longer?
I missed the first part of your question.
Will the bubble times be the same or will it be longer than they were?
Longer. I don't think we're saying how long yet because we're still tuning that. Past a certain point, it's not good for either us or for the in-game economy to let the bubble last, but we definitely want to make the bubbles last a lot longer. It's going to be a lot longer, but it's not going to be days and days and days, because then you just skip the entire bounty event.
Okay, I got one last slide, just some general questions. New road crews. We've been hearing about new road crews in the work for quite some time now. When's this going to happen?
We moved up Outpost 10. No, I'm dead serious. So I've been working on road crews with another designer and some other folks for a while now. And that just, there's only so much crap we can ship. And already we're kind of at the breaking point. So the road crews had to wait. Man, I want more. I want new road crews too. So soon, asterisk.
Gotcha. The base part targets we have now currently, the Scourge targets. I know I myself and lots of other people have massive problems with the amount of lag that the walls popping up causes. Would there be any way you could adjust those targets that the walls are just up all the time? I mean, you can still have the turrets pop up, but sometimes the lag that the walls popping up causes makes the targets like totally unplayable and undrivable. Is there any plan on addressing that?
That's not a bad suggestion. We had to do that with one of our current Scourge targets because the lag. But here's the thing. Thinking back to January, February, and March, the lag from those Scourge pop-ups was not nearly as bad as it is now. So we have something going on that we're investigating. And in full honesty, we don't know the answer yet. So I think your suggestion's not bad. I'll talk to the designer who's managing those targets and see if we can just make that happen. Because the coolness factor, I think, is a little bit over for those base part targets. I think you guys know what's going to happen.
Right.
There is a little bit of gameplay, but again, you guys have figured out the routes on those. We definitely have seen that. So there's no point in surprising you with a maze. Yeah, I'll talk to the designer on that.
One thing I definitely want to hit before you have to go, the raid points escalating constantly and build times are increasing again. Like the one thing I noticed is Phoenixes, when Phoenixes first came out, they were sitting around that 20-day build time per hull. And we had that big topic of conversation. And you realize, hey, if we want people to get a decent amount of these done in time for the next raid, that's probably a little bit too much. So you went back and did some build time reductions on certain things, and we got credited for certain things we threw on this. But now that we're on the Fangtooth, we're kind of like right back to where we were before when you're looking at 20-day build times and all that stuff. Do you have any plans similar to what you had with the Phoenix by reducing stuff and crediting anybody who's already put anything on?
Not this time, no. Do we always have a contingency plan for things like economy? Yes. And generally speaking, economy stuff like what you just talked about is a big deal here. Not just because of the inconvenience to the players, but also it's just a ton of work for us to correct. And so we talk all the time about these build times. And we don't have any plans to make any changes at this time. Are we aware that the build times are a pain point? Yeah, we're very that. So end of the day for me, very aware of that.
Gotcha. And as far as raid points constantly going up, I think the problem here is the whole limited thing. Like, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I owned a gaming retail store for 15 years, like tabletop games, collectible card games, and all that. So I know the whole entire marketing idea behind the term limited, but I also know that the term limited, when overused, becomes more of a problem than it is an attraction. Do we have any plans on doing anything about that in the future?
Do we have plans? No. Is it a thing we discuss? Yes. So you're right that the word is not doing what it's supposed to do right now. What we really want to say is our game balance is anytime we do something that's limited, it's because we have serious concerns about the game balance. We made it strong, and we can argue sometimes over the specific limited things. Were they strong or too strong? Did they deserve to be limited? That's definitely a point of discussion. But I think the real answer here is limited is now a tool we use to maintain game balance as well as a marketing tool and a method of distributing things. If we limit something like, say, the courages, it's because if we gave you 5 courages right off the bat without any sort of relief on the attack side, we'd be talking about a different game right now.
Okay, one thing that popped into my mind, and it's probably just because we're doing a raid right now, you know how you can stack targets in the raid? Is there any way you can keep track, like put a little ticker in to let you know how many of a certain target you have stacked? Is there any way that could be?
Yeah. Hey, do me a favor. Send me a message with that specific one. The wall pop-ups I'll remember, but the counter for targets,
okay.
I won't remember that, and I don't want to type while I'm in the building.
That's a cool one that I like that I have not heard.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a new one for us. So one of the things we talk about a lot is how much hand-holding to do in the event versus how much we want you guys to build your own spreadsheets and all that other stuff. I think we could probably give you more information about how you're doing in the event. Yeah.
Cool. I know I myself just had 2 more quick questions, and then we'll throw it to the rest of the guys and see if they had anything else.
Sure.
One of them is, I know a lot of times when we get to talking about price points and stuff like that for the products, you guys, obviously you're not in charge of a lot of that. That's on products side of things. I was just curious, is there any way we could ever get a guy from product to come on one of these shows and kind of talk about how they come up with those price points and have a discussion about that? Or would they probably be too gun shy?
I'm not sure if it's gun shy.
It's not gun shy. It's not gun shy.
Yeah.
It's not that. So part of being a designer is getting into the player's head. In fact, most of the job is getting into players' heads. Product is kind of the opposite. They need to keep. They don't. Their job literally requires them to think along a different line. And that's how we make a business out of this, is they have one side, we have the other, and we meet in the middle.
Correct.
And part of the interesting thing is I get to sit between both of you.
It's true. You literally sit between the two,
so we've got,
the 2 teams.
Just basically being able to sit there between them and sort of be the voice of you guys, actually, in that room and in those meetings with the, hey, that might be too much of a lever to pull. Let's make sure we are looking at the right rewards for the right amount of effort.
Right. And so that was a lot of words and talk. Let me sum up. We'll talk to product and invite them to do that. That's Chris's gig. He's the community guy. But I suspect that other than some appearances that are very brief, that's just not in there. It's like asking a programmer to come on the show. There's a couple programmers who totally would, but
But there's also a lot of, for lack of a better term, the secret sauce that they can't talk about.
Yeah, it would be kind of a disappointing discussion.
Well, and I kind of knew the answer to this question ahead of time, but I figured I was going to throw it out there. You never know when you might catch a fish by casting along. So.
And you totally should do that. You should always fish with us. But yeah, I'll just mention it to him. You know what? I'll just mention it to him. Say, hey, there's interest in having product on the shows, and see if we get anything from that.
Okay, my last question before we go to the rest of the panel and some of maybe a couple questions from chat. Do you think that having Conqueror tokens on the same build queue as mega parts has killed megas a bit?
It's interesting because when we threw megas into the foundry, we saw obviously everyone started to work on megas. And what we've learned is once you get on the mega train, you get to a certain point. No matter what, we could throw anything at you to slow you down as players, and you're going to stay on the mega train up to a certain point, which isn't important what that point is, but everyone kind of stops there. We have seen no change from the Conqueror tokens, and to be honest, that was the big thing we discussed is if we put these Conqueror tokens in, are people going to completely stop doing megas? We haven't seen that. What we see instead, people who want to do mega things, they just don't build the tokens.
Yeah, I was going to say that's interesting because I know I myself, had been working on my mega, but since the Conqueror tokens got put in that same build queue, I haven't done a thing on my mega.
Yep.
I'm like, if I got to choose between these 2 things, it's definitely not going to be the mega.
So we are doing more with megas we have another mega TLC coming out, but past that, we do have plans to go to the next step with megas. We had to pause on them to get the other stuff done this year. But over the next few months, we're looking at a lot more mega stuff. And at that point, then it becomes a question because we're going to expand the titanium manufacturing system more.
It's not just the mega currency anymore. It's
now
the
PvP currency, indeed.
Right, conquest currency.
Yes, that's right. I'm supposed to be using the buzzword we invented. So no, we aren't seeing it now. We are going to be putting more pressure on both the megas and your requirements for titanium, and we'll be watching that. But we haven't seen any loss in titanium mega engagement.
Okay, and just as another follow up for this, I suppose, when can the people who don't have their Hyperions and stuff built, when can they expect the solution for Conqueror tokens for them? Because I know that was talked about and it was coming soon, and we still have not seen anything from it yet.
I'll check on it. I also am wondering. You know, I have like a long list of things that are in flight that are being built, and it's on that list. I don't know why it hasn't moved forward. I'll find out.
Okay.
The wall. That's literally all the things that are in the back queue.
All the things in the back queue.
Gotcha. All right, guys on the panel, did you have anything else?
Mega TLCs. The one thing I've noticed from my experience with them is everything is really easy up to a point, and then you just can't. You have no prayer at all of moving beyond that. I'm guessing that point is different for different people, but I'm at the point now when a Mega TLC comes out. The only reason I'm excited is because I can effectively bubble my Mega so that I can build stuff. Because of the earlier levels aren't really giving me any bonus, but I can go through them, and when I get to the spot, well, gee, I really need that thing, I have no prayer of getting it.
Yeah. So check the next Mega TLC out and see if you have a better time. We did do some work on that. We're aware that the problem with the megas are there's not a lot of nuance. There's not a lot of difference in how these things happen. And that's part of the thing we have to work on next year. Because it's just too easy. It's just too turn on, turn off. Like you either can do it or you can't, which isn't what we want. It's not what you want either.
Ross, anything from you?
Yeah.
No, I mean, things were the armor points, you know, the bubble pad. I'm a base fan. I take a lot of pride. I think my base is going to be shot for, well, I'm just guessing. I mean, looks like a couple months.
Right on.
So if we're looking at a range of a ship now at 112, so it can reach the outpost on a normal, on the pad we have without the OP10. So then they can smash the OP. So it's going to be a while before I can, or I'll just coin it, I guess. I mean, I think we're going to be down for a while on the OP10 because of the range release. So that was my concern.
Well, that was one of the reasons I was trying to push to see exactly what the upgrade time was, to see if I had enough tokens to just get it done straight out. So,
I think you do.
Caleb, anything from you?
From the people watching the show.
Okay.
Yeah, we have time for like two more questions.
Are you guys going to be adding the base parts to the locator?
It's on the list, yes. Yes, we intend to do that. Yep.
And another one is with the VXP tokens for the Justice. For the people that ain't got the Justice, could you change it to like the Guard VXP token and you've not got the Guard VXP token?
Yeah. Why is this specifically Justice and not just General Defender? It seems like yet another place where defense is kind of getting the shaft in the whole deal.
I hear you. Defense, VXP for defense sucks right now. We're aware of it. One of the things that's coming out for Outpost 10, this isn't the best thing. This is just a stopgap measure. We recognize that, is we are reducing how much it costs to bulk buy VXP for the defenders. Obviously, that's not the final solution. We don't ever make coining the final solution. But it turned out it's a little bit more difficult than we thought to put it into VXP weekend. And so we're trying to find a better solution. What we do not want to do at this time, though, is allow you to amass a bunch of just generic Defender VXP tokens, because that carries a risk for us that we don't have the answer to. Now, if we do the math and we figure out that that's fine, then you'll see that change. But right now, we can't risk having maybe, what if we want to do a Defender hull in Q4 that is super easy to get to Legendary? then having a bunch of defender tokens would completely destroy that. So these are, I mean, it's like the forward-thinking things that we have to worry about.
Just one thing that kind of goes with that. I'm assuming that for this BXP weekend, there will be a courage-friendly ranking target since it doesn't move.
Actually, I can't confirm or deny that because we just added a target and I haven't looked at it. I'm hoping it is what you want, but no, I don't have the answer to that right now.
Okay.
I've been focused on OP10 and Bounty lately, so I haven't had a chance to peek in there.
Gotcha. Well, I know we've kind of run you guys a little bit over your time, but so I definitely appreciate you guys coming, hanging out for a little bit extra, and giving us all the info that you've given us today. And hopefully you'll be willing to come back on again sometime in the future.
Well, it would be my pleasure. Keep the invitation open, and when Rampage here lets me off the leash, I'll be happy to join you guys again.
Right on. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Take it easy.
All right, guys. So we got a fair amount of information there. So what you guys thinking?
I'm thinking the game is about to change big time.
Yeah, sorry, chat. I know you guys had a lot of questions. We didn't get to all the questions, but you just unfortunately there's just not enough time to get to everything. I mean, we tried to highlight some of the ones, but lots of questions, limited time. So, you guys, out of what we heard, what are you concerned about? And what are you excited about?
Myself, I'm concerned. I'm going to have to try to figure a way to get this OP up as quick as possible, and with the range. I mean, that's really what I'm looking at. I get hit all the time, so it'd just be down, and that's my concern. And basically, my bubble pad. It's going to be pretty. I think the entire base layouts can totally change. I think the game can change. The style of bases we have now.
The downtime, bubble pad being all screwed up and taking a month or two, that's pretty much par for the course then, right? Doesn't that kind of come with every outpost upgrade we end up having?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be definitely interesting to see some of the new layouts we're going to have with all these extra land tiles and extra space that we get.
Yeah, I got to say that I don't know what in the world I'm going to do with 30 extra land tiles spread out over a so much bigger area. I tried to go through in my head what I would do with that, and I just don't have any idea. So once that's done, it's going to be interesting to try to do a base layout. Because so far, I shouldn't say so far, but the last couple OPs we've had have been incremental changes, 2, 4, 6 land tiles. But with the huge map we're going to have to work with and the 30 extra land tiles, I don't know that it's just going to be adapting what you have now. It's going to be a wholesale change.
Well, that's kind of a good thing, though, I think, because for the last couple of years, you've just seen the same base designs over and over and over, only just, like one square out, farther out each time. But it always ends up coming back in that spiral or snail pattern, you know what I mean? Personally, I think it's a good shake-up for base design.
It will be a shake-up. I just don't know if a shake-up is going to be a good thing. There are some players in this game that are not, completely engaged, and when you make them take weeks to retune a base basically from scratch, how many of them are going to embrace the task as a refreshment of the game, and how many of them are just going to not bother? And I can't answer that question. But it's something that concerns me.
I think, I always notice it's funny because there are a fair amount. I'm not going to say by any stretch of the imagination it's a large percentage or the vast majority, but there are a large amount of older guys that play this game. And older guys, just simple statement of fact, are very resistant to change. Older guys do not like change.
Oh, that's me. I got to admit it.
So it's that hump that they have to overcome. Like, man, I've been guilty of myself. Resist change, and then when I finally give into it, I was like, oh, well, why did it take me so long to give into this? Because this way's way better than the way I was doing it. So that's something for everybody to keep in mind too. Don't get so set in your ways that you're like the crotchety old man that lives in the house on the corner that chases kids out of his yard for no apparent reason.
Oh, dude, I chase kids out of my yard for no apparent reason all the time. That's me.
I know myself, the biggest concern I took out of today was the fact that they seem to be okay with the 20-day build time on the subs. That was that's a big concern to me.
I gotta admit, that was a big concern to me too. It's been a long. I realize we're getting a new PvP shipyard, but it's been a long time since I've had a PvP hull that I've had the time to build, other than with straight up tokens. If you can get it in, knock it out with a token, get it out, that's one thing. Like when we did Mudgluts, we all had tokens for that. But I don't have. They talked about all of the blueprints that we have not built. I've got a ton of them, and frankly, at this point, I don't know that it's worth building any of the tier 6 stuff, because once you face the BFG. I don't know that tier 6 is going to be able to crack it between that and the axioms. So are we just better off waiting and not devoting any shipyard time to those adventures until they come out with tier 7 stuff? I don't know.
Well, I mean, the one thing to look at too is the BFG for Omega on top of your base or whatever, whichever you want to call it. Like, it sounds like that's going to be a really long research time. So it sounds like for your most people that you want to deal with, your average players, except for the mega whale coins, you're not going to have to worry about it for a while.
I'm going to make a prediction that if we get OP10 on Thursday, you will be able to have it done without coin by the end of October. It will be something less than 5 weeks, even without using coin. And there's a lot of us that have been saving up structure build tokens. So OP10 I expect I'll have OP10 done the day it comes out, just with structure build tokens. And that means that I can use structure build tokens to upgrade whichever lab I think it's a weapons lab that it's in, and then it's a matter of how long it is to research. And then I'm banked up on structure build, so I really do expect to see them quickly. Not quickly, in a matter of weeks as opposed to a matter of months.
Well, I don't know how many people are out there who are going to be like, oh, to research this, it's like, we'll say 60 days. I don't know a whole lot of people that are going to coin 60 days of research on that thing.
I don't believe it's going to be 60 days of research. Though if it is, I don't think anybody's going to, well, there'll be some, because there'll be some that just got to have the latest and greatest. But no, I don't expect to see people spending $300 on research.
Well, yeah, I mean, and 60 days is obviously just an arbitrary number I threw out there, but from the looks on their faces and the way they kind of talked about it a little bit, it sounds like it's going to be a pretty long research time. Shane, you were kind of late to the show today, late to the party. What do you got to say?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I got a few problems with some stuff was said. I didn't want to jump in and interrupt or nothing while they were on. For one thing, what's the difference between stocking up Defender tokens and doing the Conqueror tokens? Why is that? Why would that be such a bad thing?
The only thing I could see being a difference, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, is generally with Conquerors, you build an entire fleet, so you would have to have a much bigger stockpile to be effective on your fleet. But with Defenders, generally, you only build like one hull, maybe two. So having that big stockpile would be more drastically impacting.
Well, for me, it's not. I mean, in this month, I can build enough Conqueror tokens with spare time to max VXP my whole fleet that I'm going to build next month when they come out. I mean, I can do that. I've got over 60 tokens saved up myself right now, Conqueror build tokens.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not saying I disagree with you.
I don't see why there would be any difference of being able to do my defense. And then, I mean, with this bounty coming up, and then now they say, well, defense is not going to be a part of this one, and it might not be a part of the next one too. I might not just fucking play it, because that pisses me off.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the first F-bomb of the evening.
I'm sorry, but I mean, that is my stick of the game. Just because I don't hit bases, I mean, it doesn't mean I can't, and it doesn't mean I don't totally, but defense is a big part of my game. And not to be rewarded for it in such a major event, second then third time now, is you know, that really just makes me not even want to participate. And mind you, this is coming from the guy who got global third place in the first event. Okay, I'm all for it. I'm all for doing that. But where's my side of it? You know, just because I'm not an attacker and I don't go and get hit bases doesn't mean that I should be neglected in this part of the game.
You know, and I'm not saying I disagree with you at all. I was just, you know, trying to look at it possibly from their side, see what their thinking could possibly be. And I'm not even sure what I came up with is correct. And even if it is correct, I'm not sure I agree with it. I was just kind of trying to look at the other side of things.
Yeah. Well, I just want them to know that it does bother me that on the defense side that things are a lot harder than it is on the offensive side, when it seems like a lot of the offensive stuff, the attacker side is pretty much just given to them, and we have to fight tooth and nail for what we get.
Yeah, I mean,
I appreciate what we've gotten here recently, but how long has it been coming?
Well, yeah, pretty much the entire 6 years that this game's been out, base defense has gotten the shaft. You know, every other month it seems like they come out with a new PvP hull that you can go in and click the back of the base and you can smash whatever. But I can't remember the last time we had a defender hull that, hey, put one of the two of these in your base and nobody can get in. You know?
100%.
But I mean, that was my stick that I can think of right now.
I'm really surprised they didn't name the shipyard Huggies, to be totally honest with you. Because they said they were going to let us pick the name, and, like, you know, everybody, I would say 90% of the people I saw in that poll, Huggies. And now it's Conquest Shipyards. And I'm like, that's not Huggies. So, I don't know. But they said his name will get thrown in there, here and there, in relation to it, so I suppose that'll have to do.
I mean, going back to the PvE build, and the times on the subs, I gotta believe after he come around, he said he's aware of the time and there are no plans to fix it. That's what their plan is. They want these to be, if you're going to build 5 whole fleets, they want them to be 100-day fleets. And I knowing that there's another fleet coming out, because there always is, there's going to be 2 until they change this format. That's 200 days worth of fleets for a 93-day cycle. And yes, we get build tokens. The build tokens were down in this raid, though. They were down to just over 5 days. And we get some through the FM. But I just finished up my Tide Seeker, or not Tide Seeker, but Icebreaker and Monolith fleets with build tokens from this raid.
Well,
and that's 3 months behind, but you need them for the FM, so I did them.
Can I ask a silly question?
Yes.
As many times as that the Icebreaker and Monolith campaigns has been out, but why did you have to wait till the raid to get tokens to finish on things?
I have 3 of them. I burned all the tokens building the third fleet.
Okay, gotcha.
Because you kind of need 3 fleets. I have 2 Icebreaker fleets and a Monolith fleet. You kind of need the 3 because with the way that they've come out with the TLCs and they're just hammering on the garrison stuff, if you want to be able to sleep on repairs, you need more than 2 fleets to do them.
Okay, see, I just used 2 ballistic Zealots to do all those campaigns, and they work pretty good. So I got rid of my Icebreaker. Well, I still have my Icebreaker fleet, but I scrapped my monos. And I just used 2 ballistic Zealots to do the FM 113s, and it works great. So might want to look at going down that road.
I've only built 1 well, if I were to go that, then that's another, each one of those is about a 20-day build. That's another 40 days worth of fleets I'd have to build. But I expect going forward, look at this raid. People are going to be able to get by with the Phoenix and didn't build the Sky King or Skyfire or whatever they call it. And now the 106, I guess you can do it with the Phoenix if you're got a full set of charged armor and are willing to burn 2 or 3 star crews to do it. But generally, the 106, you need to have the Skyfires to do it. And if you didn't build both fleets, you're kind of out there.
To be honest, I've been doing pretty good on the 106s with my Skyfire, with my Phoenixes. I've got it down around 30-minute repair, down to 18-minute repair, and that's without running a crew or anything.
Well, and that would make you the exception rather than the rule. I don't doubt that there are people out there who are getting it done, but in general, if your fleet isn't completely ranked and completely done, you're struggling.
Well, that's kind of the concept of the 3rd cycle of the raid, ain't it? Everything's supposed to be marked and membered and up to par.
Well, sure. If you're somebody who was able to claim all of the charged armors you needed with a half-done fleet.
I mean, this is the first raid that I've had my complete Phoenix fleet built.
See, I'm like, and this makes me very unpopular with a lot of people, but I don't really care because I'm not out to win a popularity contest, is that if you're going into the last raid and your fleet's not fully done, fully built correctly, fully ranked, then you perhaps need to have a little bit more realistic expectations of what kind of prizes you're going to get out of the raid, as opposed to expecting to waltz in there with half-done shit and get everything you want.
But it's not a matter of waltzing in with half-done ships. Almost said a word there. Ships and getting everything you want. If you don't get the Fangtooth, the torpedo, and the special, along with at least a portion of the charged armor to build that fleet, you are going to, at best, struggle in the next raid. You are probably going to be out of it.
But that's pure speculation on your part because you have no idea what the next raid targets are going to look like, and you have no idea what's going to be able to be done with Hell Race and be done with Tide Seekers. So that is absolutely pure speculation.
Well, especially being the first raid of the new cycle, it seems like they've been coming into them soft, giving the older ship owners a chance to get started in there. Say you're running in there with Hell Race next month because that's all you've got because you couldn't get it this month. They've been pretty good about the first raid being a soft sell.
That was definitely true in the garrison format because you could go in that garrison raid, the very first one, and you could do that thing with just about any boat that you had.
So we're still traveling kind of slow and letting them see what they put out for us in the beginning, I mean, even this raid right here, the first time through, I think I had 2 Phoenixes and I was running a Savage Kodiak with them for the extra reload and stuff. And I mean, I got through the first raid, got everything I needed, and then just, you know, progression through there. Like I said, this is the third one of this cycle, and this is the first one I've had my full fleet of Phoenixes, and that's without doing the Skyfires. You know, you just ain't got time to do 2 fleets. So, you know. Now I think they did something to the 106s to make them more friendly to the Phoenixes. I do believe that, because right off the bat, yeah, you couldn't do them without the Phoenixes. Or I mean, without the Skyfires and the 106s. But I mean, then that's what they tell us. It's going to get harder every time. But the main deal with this raid right here, though, is they turned around and made the 106 specifically for the Skyfires, and that was kind of a bad move on their part. Nutting the Phoenixes, which was supposed to be the skill hull. They got a lot of complaints on that, and I think they turned around and fixed it. Acceptable from my point of view on the 106s to run them with Phoenixes.
Yeah, I mean, there was so many things I wanted to ask them, having them on the show today, but it was, you can't fit everything in, you know, because I really wanted to get into the difference in the targets from how we had the 103 last month that kind of screwed the Skyfire guys, and the response to that was, oh, well, we'll put in the 106 this month that makes the Skyfire guys happy, but screwed the Phoenix guys. You know, I wanted to bring it up, but we just didn't have enough time. I mean, I was very happy that they stayed the extra little time that they did to address some of the other things that we had. And I just know that discussion probably in its own self would have turned into like a 20-minute thing, you know? So I was like, well, we just have to kind of prioritize a little bit. But, okay, guys, we're at like 7 minutes after the hour, so I think we're going to wrap it up here. I mean, we've got our news, got our information out there that they gave us, asked them some questions, discussed things a little bit after. So I think we're going to call it a night here. I'm actually going to put the link to the Hangout in the chat if anybody wants to come in and talk a little bit about stuff. But until then, thanks everybody for coming out. I definitely appreciate it. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. If you liked what you saw here tonight, smash the like button. And hopefully we will see you guys for our next show, which will probably, I guess, if they do the update Thursday, we'll end up doing a second show this week to cover the update. We'll keep you posted on the Crow's Nest page. So we'll talk to you guys next time, and have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
Later, people.